our project is On the Record by Two Hands Collective, which consists of me and Alana and Simon, who are both there, and also Brooke Cheng, who's also here, but her video is not showing. Kevin's here, our third artist. And yeah, On the Record, we are funded in part by For Culture, and our project is a part of the Seattle Design Festival, which is running right now from August 15th until the 23rd. And yeah, our overall project is sort of these three different paintings where we found a couple of local Seattle artists, Kendra, Malcolm, and Kevin, who are all here on the call. And yeah, they're going to be taking over the call in a little while and talking about their work. Yeah, and once again, we're a part of the Seattle Design Festival. And there are a bunch of other events as a part of the Design Festival this week, which you can check out at designinpublic.org. Yeah.
Mother Earth is pregnant.
So this is our sneak peek video.
Hello, my name is Kendra Azari.
My name is Kevin Snotty.
This is the Wolfdelux, Malcolm Proctor.
I chose to represent Tupac because of his messages of strength and overcoming. I think that we really need those messages to be heard in a time like now.
The artist that I've chosen is George Clinton. The funk is always on. He makes a statement just by his image being seen.
I chose to do Jimi Hendrix. You know, when I was younger, see that image of a black man, you know, controlling the guitar the way he was and the level of creativity that flowed, you know, out of that man, it was amazing to me. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, with that, I guess, do each of the artists, do you want to like introduce yourselves and say who you are? Kendra, do you want to start first?
Sure, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kendra, as you saw in the video. I'm from Seattle, I'm an artist. I do canvas work, mural work. I do a lot of community work. Yeah, that's me.
Or Kevin, if you're ready, do you want to go?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, yes, how's it going? My name is Kevin Snotty. I am a local artist. Just recently, I've been trying to get back out in the art community, and I just wanted to start involving myself with local, you know, other local artists. That's why I was thrilled at this opportunity to be able to participate. I'm here, and I was excited to be a part of this project, and looking forward to other opportunities such as this.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. My name is Malcolm Proctor. I don't remember. I'm a local artist from Seattle. I don't remember what other info are we supposed to share at this time.
Just like a quick introduction. Just yeah.
I just I've been painting like as of recently clothing and canvases mainly, but I paint anything and everything. I used to be a construction worker, like a commercial painter, but now I just survive off my paintings, and used to do live shows and pop-ups and those type of things, but now it's mainly getting a lot more mural opportunities right now. Seattle's like a mural city with all these boards.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at these days. And Kendra, super dope artist. She's just always popping up everywhere too. And she's the one who hooked me up with this, so that's why I'm here.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, we're just like really, really happy to have you guys be a part of this project too. And yeah, we installed it in Everyday Music, which is this record shop in Capitol Hill. I took this video today of the install. And Everyday Music is open every day from 11 to 6. So you can just like walk in and check out the artwork. It's this really, really big record shop. Internet's a little slow. But yeah, they're the pieces. And one more. But yeah, yeah. Are there, you guys have any questions at this moment? If not, we can go on to each of the artists talking about their work specifically.
Yeah, maybe we can do the like artist individual meetings, and then we can go into questions after that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Cool, yeah, so this is Kendra's piece. Kendra, feel free to chime in.
Okay, this piece is a painting of the wonderful and amazing Tupac, as you all possibly can see. I chose Tupac because he has been such an inspiration for me personally as a human being, and through my hard times, his music got me through, and his influence. I decided to quote some lyrics from Dear Mama because I feel like that message that about taking the pain away and fighting through it goes for anything, not only the song, but also just everyday life. You know, we all come from our own levels of trauma. We all have our own things. And I think this message was a good reminder for me to keep going through my hard times and keep doing the things that made me happy and keep fighting and holding on. And the song Dear Mama is very, I think anybody can relate to it, maybe in a different way than other people, but yeah, he's been such an inspiration to me. In high school, people always said, oh, that's the girl that's obsessed with Tupac, because my whole binder, I had all of his books, all of his movies, everything. I was listening to him all the time. And I looked at him like he was like a mentor, and he helped raise me. So yeah, I had a lot of fun painting this. Yeah. And I added in the gold. I use a lot of gold in my artwork, and I put it in here because to me, gold is representational of like royalty, and I think he's a king and he should be represented as such. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
How about, I'll go next. Oh wait, am I next? I don't know. I'm not viewing what we're viewing and us at the same time.
Yeah.
Literate.
It's on yeah, it's on your piece with George Clinton.
Okay. So thought about a lot of different people who I would pick and landed on George Clinton because I feel like there's a whole lot of Black artists that are basically keys to a lot of music that people like, even if they don't know that they do in the modern day. But George Clinton's just like clearly. So the picture that I picked, I thought was kind of it's kind of a cheeky ode to people that really know about the music, because George Clinton is known for color and like extreme style, like flamboyant, all of like Parliament, all of the people that were around him throughout, like they I would say during the 70s, which I was not alive, they are one of the most influential style-wise for people performing on stage, flat out. But this picture reminds me of, like, it's very wizard-like, the actual picture. If you don't know, it's kind of like a random person with colorful hair, but if you know the background, then I hope it's a strong ode to somebody that gave a lot of keys. There was some, with early Parliament, they released a comic book, essentially, that came with it, that kind of told you the story of the funk. And I'll tell you, like, the very beginning on how cool it was. And a lot of his stuff on recorded audio was actually like a freestyle, like a free form of consciousness that he just like recorded. But essentially, there was a character that went to the pyramids and received special magic that let them acquire the bop gun, which could let anyone become funky. And that's the beginning, if you ever, look up that lineage. But essentially, yeah, throughout his life, he produced throughout all genres, all types, and to this day, I think is one of the most impactful cats. So I think it was just like the colors that I used were more to show that there is a lot more to what you see. It's like tried to make it more subtle. I don't like to be very like minimal with any of my work, really, purposefully. Like for me, this piece was very minimal for what I normally do, but that's why I thought it was kind of funny. I felt like it was like a cheeky thing, and George Clinton's like a cheeky character. So there it is.
Cool. Awesome. And Patrick.
All right, am I on?
Yep.
All right. Well, so I chose Seattle's own Jimi Hendrix. I mean, I guess you could say it was an obvious pick, but I've always liked Jimi Hendrix, even before I realized I liked Jimi Hendrix. Like, I always kind of grew up with his music, and I, as I stated before in the introduction, I think he kind of opened me up to the genre of rock and roll, because I grew up, growing up, you hear like a lot of early 90s rock and roll. At the time, I really wasn't a fan, but I don't know what it was about seeing Jimi Hendrix play the guitar and then kind of learning about his history and some of his influences, some which include like Little Richard and some of the bands he played with before he became Jimi Hendrix. And to see where he got, where he kind of got some of his influences from. And then the fact that he played the guitar with his left hand, like, I mean, and at that time they didn't make a guitar, for a left-handed person. So it was essentially upside down. And just like when he performed, he was pretty much in his own world, granted, yeah, there were a lot of drugs and recreational, a lot of marijuana use. So I think his level of creativity was probably boosted with that. But for the most part, I think just seeing that image of Jimi Hendrix, just commanding the stage, and whether it was like breaking his guitar, setting it on fire, or just like doing these crazy solos, like the creativity was just it was crazy. But I think the painting that I did was I think it was he was performing at Woodstock, And I don't know, there's something about, I don't know, I just love the afro with the, you know, the little bandana top, you know, that's that Afro-centric, like, you know, that look, man. It was everything to me, man. And every time I draw Jimi Hendrix, it's like that's the style I like. That's the one that like always captivates me a little bit. But I'll be honest, I'm really not the best painter. You know, I that's not like really my main medium. So it was a bit of a challenge. It was a fun challenge though. But you know, I definitely learned a lot. But I just used acrylic, and I chose like a purple backdrop. I tried to add in, you know, some complementary colors. And it's kind of hard to see from the picture, but you know, I try to add in like, okay, it's a purple backdrop, and he has that famous song Purple Haze, and I try to, you know, make a little haze effect. And I don't know, I definitely try to have fun with it. You know, I wish I had more time to actually work on it, but I definitely enjoyed it, and it was definitely a, you know, a fun challenge. But yeah.
Well, thank you all. Yeah, I think we have some discussion questions prepared. Alana/Simon, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start off with a question, and then maybe anyone else that wants to ask a question can start. Oh, sorry. What? Oh, yeah. How about, there's one question that was sent in the chat that I can ask out loud, and then we can go into anyone else's questions. So Annalie asked, I would love to hear more about how isolation and social distancing may have impacted your process. So any, Kendra, Malcolm, or Kevin, feel free to add in on that.
I'll talk about that a little bit. It's been difficult for me because I do a lot of community work with my mural art. Sometimes I'm working with 10 people, sometimes I'm working with 100, at one time it was 500. So it's definitely impacted my ability to do the kind of work I love. I love working with kids and youth and community members and trying to bring people together. So my projects have had to be altered and changed for that reason, but it's been okay. I mean, we're here, we're still alive, and we're still creating, so I think that's a good thing. But I think that I wish I could be with people because I love people. So yeah, that's how it's impacted me. A couple of canceled projects or altered projects. So that's it.
Yeah, well, I can't say it's affected me too much, because like I stated before, I recently just started getting out into the art community, and I know a lot of artists. Oh yeah, and I forgot, shout out to Kamisha Turner. She's the one that got in contact with Leah, and she contacted me. So big shout out to her. But 'cause I expressed to her like, hey, I'm trying to get, you know, I'm so busy adulting and, you know, taking care of like business, like, and I'm just like, I need to do something artistic. I've just been, you know, confined to just everything else. I just want to do some art. So I've been slowly getting back out there, and I was helping out with a few murals, you know, a couple on Beacon Hill and all that. But as far as how it's impacted me, typically when I do my art, I'm usually isolated anyway. I'm in my house when I actually get some time. So for me, it hasn't particularly affected me at this moment.
Hello. All right. This pandemic has sent me into turbo mode. I have like multiple sides to myself. I have just a little tiny, quick, long, short story. I have Crohn's disease. I found out like, I don't know, 1995. It didn't really affect me until heavily until my 20s, to my late 20s. And probably about 5 years ago, I had to have my first surgery, and I had an ostomy bag. And on top of that, I wasn't supposed to lift anything heavier than like a carton of milk. And I didn't realize how much lifting stuff ruled my life. I'm not into like lift exercise, like lifting like that, just like even taking extra grocery bags or whatever. But it made me reorganize my mind. And that's when I started doing pop-ups and doing like live paintings more often. So I'm essentially always reorganizing, trying to find new hustles within the art. And that's like one side that I've been developing, but my main side is a caveman. I'm a caveman. I love people. I love them all the time, but I also love my own space and my own, you know, so like the fact that people are supposed to be staying away and social distancing, I feel in many ways, although there's like obvious ones that are like triggering people, there's so many advantages in that. Yeah, I've just been expanding because the more that I expand, I feel like we don't have as long as we think for this extreme amount of creative time. Like so many of my friends who create art on, you know, like as a hobby, or I would say are like, you know, on the hobby level with how serious they are. You know, when you all of a sudden get a bunch of free time, sometimes it's very hard to know what to do with it or how to reorganize. So for me, I've already been on this like level for a long time that it hasn't really shifted except for no more pop-ups. It massively hit my like being able to pay rent because all of it pretty much depended on me being able to show up places. So, but it just forced me to get my digital edge sharper, which always was a need. Things like this, I'm interested in tech, and I've always felt like that was the way, you know, the most relevant art and everything right now. So I also do editing and other things. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm taking advantage. No one wanted to give me no murals, by the way, before. And now I have like 15. And I'm probably like, I could have way more, but my health kind of like jumped back, got a little bit crazy for a second, so I had to calm down. But now I'm about to go up again. So say all that to say not so bad, except for I'm sad for, you know, the current state of things. I feel like I wish we could properly enjoy a lot of this time that we have away. So I feel a lot. But I'm cool. I'm like a chaos flower. I'm like a cactus in the desert. I'm cool.
I have a question. So originally when we were discussing the project with you guys, we told you we would be doing 1, a mural on the wall, and 2, that it would be much bigger. And then it ended up being 3x3 instead of the wall versus 6x6 and then 3v3. So how did that influence what you decided to do? Was it just you'll scale it down and do the same thing, or did you completely rearrange what you were planning on doing based on the size?
I'll just answer mine really quick. Whenever I do any kind of portrait stuff, the only part that I really focus on, because I don't really focus on trying to be realistic, is the eyes. They say, I've never been to art school or taking art classes, but I hear in the wind that they say that it's all in the eyes. And I feel like with most of the portraits, once I like get the eyes in, then everything else can be kind of like, I can be more free to do the rest. So I would have did that no matter what. And it speaks to the whole pop-up and event planning shit stuff. You know, stuff always goes wrong. So you always have to like have plan Bs. So that's why, yeah, I was just like, I know I'm going to put his little face right there and then the rest. It just got easier and easier, I'd say. It becomes less difficult. It just became easier and easier, I guess, in some aspects, in dealing with like the elements and everything. So just cutting that was pretty major.
I think, Kendra, when I talked to you, you said, or when I had given you the smaller canvas, you said that, oh, you're used to something bigger, I think.
Yeah, I really like working big. And even when it was going to be the mural, I was excited because that's my favorite way to create. I like sharing it with whoever's going to walk by. But then when it was going to be the 6x6 canvas, I was like, okay, we can work with this. That's fine. And then when it was the 3x3, I'm like, okay, that's okay. It's like with art, you have to roll with it. You just roll with it because the message is still the same. And I feel like, I don't know, I changed my design from my rendering. My rendering was going to be one thing, and it would have been really cool for really big, but then I felt like when it's smaller, I felt like it was more intimate. And so that's why I changed it a bit with the design and the picture of him looking kind of from the side, and it just felt a little more emotional and, you know, in my space working on it. So, yeah, that was it. I was fine with the change. It wasn't bad. And I like working big because it's great. It feels good to be free and just be able to use your whole body to create, and like your arms are out. You've got like your leg holding on to one thing and your arms on something else. It's great. But the 3x3 was fine too. And we didn't have to be in the hot sun. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, well, it definitely, I think for me, it didn't affect it too much. You know, I think the level or the amount of paint that was used, you know, I didn't have to go through as much paint, you know, for sure. And like I said, hey, I'm totally open and honest. Like I said, I'm really not a painter, and just doing the backdrop, just doing just the purple in the back, I'm like, wow, okay, I have to figure out another way to, you know, spread this paint out. So it's probably a good thing that we did the 3x3. So, but you know, I learned certain techniques, and like I said, this was really a learning process for me, and I definitely learned a lot, and I think I'm really excited to actually hop on another canvas and just like kind of, you know, utilize what I've learned. But for the most part, the original design stayed the way it was. I did make some last audible, you know, experiment changes, which I was like, okay, why did I do that? You know, but luckily with paint, you let it dry and you can just paint over it. So I was able to make some fixes, but overall, everything pretty much stayed the same though, so it wasn't too bad.
I wanted to ask each of you, like, as you're creating, were you listening to that particular artist's music, and like, did you find inspiration in it?
I think I sang, like, okay, so this is something that's maybe just weird about me, but when I'm painting, I sing a lot. It's just a natural thing that I do. So I sang a lot of Tupac while, not necessarily the song that I quoted, but just in general while I painted. I sang the whole time. So I didn't really even listen to it. I just sang from memory. So yeah, my family thought I was crazy. That's okay.
Yeah, well, it was pretty much the same thing for me also. I like when I was painting, I didn't have any Jimi Hendrix playing, but in my head I was just kind of humming like, you know, like Hey Joe, or, you know, Purple Rain, you know, just kind of singing the song in my head. Because in my house, like there's so much going on in my house, I can't always have the music playing when I want to. So because it was kind of a madhouse at the time, like my son running around and certain other things. So I kind of had to take the music and put it up here. So I would just kind of, you know, occasionally put some headphones on. You know, I would probably listen to something else, but for the most part, the same thing as Kendra. I was just singing a lot of the songs in my head as the process was going.
I can't remember it all, can't remember at all what I was listening to. It wasn't that, but I like that question. I thought it was a good question. Yeah. George Clinton, Parliament, Funkadelic, funk music is like always in my heart. So I guess, yeah, I probably heard it in my head. Or probably I was saying some words he was saying, but no, it's such a, that's why I picked George Clinton, because I feel like no matter whatever music I listen to, he's embedded. So it's just, yeah, I don't remember.
Anyone else have a question? Also, if you don't want to talk, you can put a question in the chat. Okay, we have one from Dorothy. I'm just going to repeat it out loud. Regarding the COVID isolation, these and other artists helped me so much. I met Kendra and Malcolm as they were painting, and Malcolm's mural in Chop was so important. It was the backdrop for most of the media pieces. I think all the artists that have done murals for the past 6 months, it was like an outdoor art gallery where I could safely get out of my house and see artists at work. That was nice. Cool. So have you guys been working on other pieces a lot while you've been doing this piece specifically? Like, is this a type of piece to you guys that you would do it all at once or come back to it multiple times?
I like to, when I'm working on a piece, I devote myself to that one piece completely, unless I'm working on a commissioned piece for a client. Like, I mean, I guess this is, but this was more like fun to do than sometimes when you're doing commissioned pieces, you're just kind of like, okay, and it feels like work. And then you go away and do your own work. But this felt like it was like work, but it was also mine. So I devote myself to a piece, and I did it all in 2 days. Yeah, probably like, I don't know, I'm gonna say like 5 hours, something like that. Yeah, just all like a couple of hours the one day and a couple the other day.
Yeah, well, I tackle mine. I think in total, I think I maybe worked on it for about 4 days. And each time I would probably do, I don't know, an hour and a half at a time. And then I think the last day I worked on it, I think I put in maybe about a good 2 hours into it, maybe 3 hours into it. But yeah. So I think I sometimes I just have to walk away, and then I come back into it, and then, you kind of get, some different insight, and like, oh, okay, let me try it like this, or let me add this little detail right here. So sometimes I like to walk away and then come back to it.
I am completely scatterbrained with my paint style. I'm like a grenade that goes off, multiple grenades that goes off inside my room. So anytime I paint one painting, I'm normally painting like 3 or 4. You have like extra paint because you mix too much of a color. I like will run around the room and touch stuff that's like, well, this color could go here. And same thing with my clothes. Like I kind of do it like assembly line, like groupings. So that's just, there's a whole shaggy dog tail to all of that process. But I think I just so happened to have gotten sick right when I got this stuff. So I painted probably like 5 hours on it too, but one night. And I just, sometimes I use like a hair dryer to make the process go faster. Since I was like healing up, I put like one of those dish heaters, and I just blasted it at the wall, and I did my painting one night. So it would just be quick drawing, and that's kind of spoke to the style of it too. I don't know, maybe I was like burning up while I was painting it, but so it kept like drawing really rapidly, and I just kind of like crammed it, but not crammed it like, I don't know. That's just how I do it. I never time myself. I was thinking about trying to do that for various things. I don't know. For me, it's, I guess, more getting the general idea out, and the more and more I learn, it's like, I guess there's like a whole understanding to that. There's like there's kind of like a breakthrough process that some people, not breakthrough, but like a point of when you're working on a piece, like you're trying to get better, or you're trying to achieve an image, or blah, blah, blah. Once you've kind of achieved that, all of the other finishing and completion part is like not that important to your growth. And I think that I naturally probably have that. That's why I've like always painted multiple things at the same time. And like, I don't know, but sometimes I stick on stuff. I just get weird sometimes. Sometimes it'll be like, I don't know, certain mediums, I'll do them for like a couple years, just that. But at this time, I'm pretty like balanced with everything that I do. And I always try to do one kind of medium I've never done before, because I feel like that's what keeps you fresh. So I hope I answered that.
No, that was good. We have a question from Julia. Do you plan to incorporate more imagery of musicians in your art after doing this project?
I've done a couple of musicians. I have a piece with Lauryn Hill, who's also one of my favorites, and a piece with Bob Marley, who's another one of my favorites. But I think that incorporating musicians into your work is a really good way to catch people's attention as an artist. I think that it brings people like, oh, it's recognizable. This is so-and-so and this is so-and-so. But I don't know, like, I mean, I enjoyed doing it. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist with it. So if it doesn't look similar enough, I will scrap the whole thing. And I as an artist, I'm really hard on myself. I think that all of us are hard on ourselves in the world, and we shouldn't be. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do one just for your question, Julia. That was my sister's name. So in your honor, I will make something. Well, who would you like me to paint? And I'll paint them. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, well, I've drawn, oh man, so many musical artists like Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce, only because like my wife loves Beyonce. She's like part of the Beehive, so I actually owe her one portrait. Like she wants a trilogy. I haven't had time to finish it, but I got to finish this last one. But yeah, just I don't know. I've lost count, but I mean, typically what Kendra said is like, yeah, like typically when you draw a lot of like recognizable musical artists, it does like draw attention. That isn't my main thing, but yeah, I mean, it's always fun. But I think, doing this particular project has kind of opened up another door to where I kind of want to, maybe experiment more with, just painting in general. I think I feel like I want to get, I think this opened up a door for me to like to really, really want to kind of improve and like, just, experiment and, why not, a musical artist, there's a lot of influential musical artists that are out there to choose from. So, I mean, hey.
I do. It's kind of like a weird thing. I mainly like to do, cartoony, anime type of things. I do normally, like the thing that I did there with George Clinton was based off of a photograph. And there's like this whole like infringement type thing that I have going on with artists that like, I don't like my own interpretations. I like to work from photos. So I have done like quite a few paintings for people of different musicians and stuff, but I don't even like to put my name on it. And I consider it kind of like part of my practice and like kind of to build my overall skill. But I hope that one day I can like draw artists, like different musical artists from my mind and actually like the way that it looks. But yeah, to answer your question, I come all the time. They're part of the, you know, pop culture universe that I love. So everybody gets it.
Awesome. And we have one last question that we can close out with for the day from Annalie, who asked, she wants to hear more about how you guys wanted the community to interact with your pieces. Obviously the scale changed, but what do you want people to take away and to go out with when seeing your pieces?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. What do you want people to take away from your artwork?
I think that I'd like people to take away from my artwork that whatever it makes them feel. I feel like I see Malcolm and Kevin and I were all kind of looking off in the distance thinking, and I'm like, it's a really hard question to answer, I feel like, because I mean, people can take away whatever they want, but I like to always make people feel happy, and I like to provoke thought. So I guess with this particular piece, I'd like to inspire somebody, to whoever needs to hear it, to hold on through the hard times, because we're definitely in really hard times right now. All of us in different ways or similar ways. So hold on and rely on the music to help you get through it. That's what I'd like to say.
Yes, that is a very hard question. I never thought about that. But yeah, I think it's you know, kind of piggybacking off what Kendra said, just, you know, when you see some art, despite the hard times and everything that's going on with the current climate right now, you know, just when you see certain pieces, you know, just something that reminds you that, to stay happy, or, you know, keep a smile on your face, or keep your head up. Or, you know, like I said, I just love the feeling of, or just any drawing that you do, whether it's something you just drew because, you know, you just wanted to create something, or if you did a piece for somebody, you know, it always brings me happiness when somebody is just like, oh, you know, this looks amazing, or, you know, that you see a certain feeling within them receiving, you know, that art. And I may not fully understand, because sometimes I'm like, well, I think it's okay, but to that person, it's like, oh, this is amazing, you know. So yeah, I mean, everybody has their own interpretation of whatever, you know, art that you bring. But for the most part, yeah, I think I do want people to be, you know, feel a sense of happiness, like, you know, or a sense of, you know, encouragement and motivation, and creativity, like despite whatever's going on. I think that's the cool thing about art, is like, you know, it captivates and it moves, you know, people in their own unique way. So, you know, so I think that, I don't even know if I'm answering the question right, but I think overall, I just want them to feel whatever they feel, as long as it's it's a positive emotion, you know, something, you know, that'll make you, you know, feel happy, or cry in a good way, or, you know, just remind you of something, you know, reminisce, or, you know, whatever that, you know, that upbeat or positive emotion is.
Well, I'm going for, you know, can't remember who did the song, but essentially some mysterious vibes that we share. Who did that song? I can't remember. But that was the whole, if you look, he's kind of like I said, giving you the little creepy wizard vibes. So when you come in, if you know George Clinton, you'll know. Also, I left a few clues. There's a couple clues on there. And I feel like, yeah, it should be very much like, who is that kind of vibes. Most of the time I don't think about it, I'll be honest. But for this one, when you're in a record store, I also, you know, my name Wolfdelux actually comes from DJing. Since I was young, I've always been obsessed with records and music in general, and I spent many hours in all the everydays, even when they were in their various other locations. So super tight to be in there. And when I think about the type of people that are in there doing their thing all the time, and then there's like the new people, all the kind of like the ecosystem of a record thing, he's just kind of like peering at you. And I think it'll pull somebody to try to figure it out either over time. Like probably there'll be a lot of people who like don't try to figure it out, and they'll just be like, there's like a colorful hair person, but eventually they'll go over and they'll see it and they'll realize. And the same thing for my style, like I put a little bit of me into it, and I feel like it's the same way. Like I put Wolfdelux on it. I don't even sign my paintings Wolfdelux. I don't know why I put it on there. I think it's part of that whole drawing artist pictures tendency thing that I have. But yeah, it should be like a search and find type thing. So, but I know the paint's creeping at you. It's looking at you. So you're going to have to be like, who is that? Every time I go in there, it's looking at me. And I must see who this is. And they're probably going to ask. They'll probably, I bet you the front people are going to get asked a lot who that person is.
Awesome. Yeah, and with that, like, I think it's about time. This is an apt name. Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. I'm very interested. I would be very interested to hear if you could describe in just a few words, like how you became an artist, what influenced you, what was your major reason why you became an artist.
It's in my DNA. I feel like that's the best answer. My great aunt was an artist and worked for Vogue doing design. My grandmother is an artist. My brother was an artist. I'm an artist. I have been doing art and putting my art in shows since I was a child. And I guess like the best thing that I can say is,
You never finished.
Yeah,
the question.
you can start from the beginning.
Okay. What did I say? Okay, I said it's in my DNA. And like my first thought when I said that was like Kendrick Lamar's DNA. And I was like, okay, we have artistry in our DNA, right? I have generations of family members that were artists. And for me, art is the way that I express myself. It's the way I get through my bad times. It's the way I express my joy and my happiness, my sadness, everything. It's like a look into the soul. So I feel like, I don't know, that's the best way to do it. And that's how I became an artist. I was doing art semi-seriously. I was doing it in school. I'd always been an artist, but I never took myself seriously. And then I had a pretty big body of work that somebody intentionally destroyed, and it like broke my heart. So I stopped. I took a year sabbatical and I stopped doing anything. And then I came back, and a friend of mine, she was actually my instructor at the time at the college I go to. she was like, you should be displaying your art. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. And she's like, no, really, you need to be. And my partner, he started pushing me, and then I just started doing it, and I decided I wanted to do it full time, and I quit my job and I started painting murals. I just started. I made a decision one day and I did it. So
how long have you been a full-time artist?
3 years now.
Wow.
3 years, 3 years full-time and professionally. And before that, I mean, I'm 31. I've been painting as long as I could hold a brush or a marker or a pencil. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So I guess my question is are you getting by, you know, by being a full-time artist? I mean, is it pretty, I mean, have you found like a stable situation in that, or is it a struggle sometimes, or?
The money, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, it is a struggle. I don't make what I'd like to make, but I believe that if I stay in it, I will, and I keep going, because there's no cap. If you're self-employed, right? There's no cap in the amount of money that you make. You can work at this place and cap out or max out at $30 an hour, or you can work for yourself. And let's say I have a project, and you can make what you want to make by setting your price. Of course, selling these pieces behind me, you know, people don't want to pay what I believe I should be paid for my art. But with mural art, you can make a lot more money. But you have to stay on the grind, looking for projects, getting projects, unless people are seeking you out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And of course, in the summer months, spring and summer months, you make more money. And then in the winter, for fall and winter, you don't make anything sometimes, because you don't have there's no murals going on. So you really just have to be hustling and grinding all the time. So it's not like snapping my fingers and I'm like, I'm rich. It's like you work hard and you have to go and push yourself and be uncomfortable.
Well, I took a peek at your page, and you have some great work, by the way.
Thank you. So do you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but do you do? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you also do digital?
Yeah, I do. I do digital art. I do logo design. I do web design, and this is something else I do. I make money that way too. So like if somebody needs a website done or a logo done or business cards designed or flyers designed, whatever, I can do all of that. And it's fun to do, but yeah, it's fun. We also do t-shirts and apparel.
Oh, man, you got it all sewed up, man.
We can keep going. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do it all. Okay, that's dope.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know. I have been drawing ever since I was, in elementary school. But I used to always like draw on the tables, all the way up to high school. I used to just do like my little sketches, my little doodles. And yeah, I think in high school, I used to design a couple of tattoos for some of my friends. And, but, of course, yeah, I never really took it serious or anything. It wasn't until, I don't know, I got out of high school. And, at the time I was just, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just out here. And then everybody always told me, man, hey, you got to do something with your art. You got to do something with your art. Never really paid it no mind. And I think when, I don't know what, I think I had turned like 20-ish. And I did a short stint at actually, no, I went to ITT Tech. And I was like, this is too technical for me. I want to do something more, something more artistic. So of course, like the big school at the time was like the Seattle Art Institute, which I'm not gonna lie, I wish I didn't go there, but that's a whole nother story. But I went there for like about a year. I mean, it's real cool. I think it was more about the connections and the people that you met more than anything. But then, you know, obviously I had my child at that time, and I couldn't afford to be a broke college student anymore, so I had to kind of get out here and get some money. But along the way, I always kept drawing. And I actually, let me backtrack for a minute. I think one of the things that really got me drawing was when I seen, it's kind of random, but I seen it was like an anime or an anime movie. It was called oh yeah, Akira, because I seen that movie when I was, I don't know, I might have been like 7 or 8 years old. It's a very old movie, but even to today's standards, it holds up with a lot of animations to this day. Like, and at that time when I was young, it like really blew my mind. And I used to always try to duplicate that style, and I, you know, and it was something about like animation or just seeing the characters and the detail. And that was, I don't know, that always kind of drove me to always draw. But when I had got out of high school, and I did my little short stint in college, people used to come to me asking me for designs, and I just started, just creating things. And I think I sold my first piece of work, and it was just on from there. But unfortunately, I wish I can do it full time. I would love to. It's definitely a part of me, but I don't know, just listening to you, that kind of inspired me a little bit. I'm like, wow, she's really, I mean, okay, I understand the money's not all there, but at the same time, you're doing it full time. You're doing what you enjoy to do. I mean, you're doing what you enjoy doing, and you're making a living. I mean, hey, that can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I would definitely, love to be in a situation to where I can spend more time doing that. So I don't know. Just takes a little bit, of patience and some drive as far as that goes. But yeah,
My best advice is just put yourself out there, and don't second guess yourself, and always just push yourself to the max, because nothing is impossible. And I know that sounds really corny and cliche, but it's, I guess my video stopped. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know. You just keep pushing yourself to do it, because if you want to, even if you work another, a 9 to 5, still just keep going. Okay.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It's just you just have to get uncomfortable. I think that's the biggest thing. Is it's scary to put yourself out there. It's scary to show your artwork. It's scary to have people looking at it all the time. Yeah. Because they're looking at you too, and you're just kind of okay, look, but don't look too hard, but it's important too, because your art deserves to be shown. It's important because you don't know the inspiration, if it's going to inspire somebody. I've had people drive by a mural and be like, hey, I was having a really bad day and I saw that and it made my day. And I'm like, hey, that's what it's for, so just keep creating. I mean, okay, I have to tell myself that too. So
yeah, definitely. And that's why, I mean, this, just this summer, I mean, I've, in a matter of a couple months, I've connected with so many artists. And I don't know, that really does inspire me, just being around other creative people. I mean, it doesn't really matter the medium, whether you do murals, painting, abstract, this, that, and the third, scope, whatever, just, being around the creative mind. And I've been enjoying it. And yeah, you're right. I think, that's what I decided to do recently. Just hey, let me just put myself out there, and why not? So like I said, just meeting artists like you, and seeing artists like Malcolm and seeing some of his stuff, and other artists that I've seen. I mean, yeah, it is inspiring, and then just to see that people are just having fun, and also making a living out of that. I mean, to me, I mean, that's I gotta respect that. I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's definitely, I mean, like I said, it's not easy. You have to keep going, and you have to fight for your jobs, and you have to fight for it so that you can keep doing it, and also seeking out people who will support you so that you can continue to do your work. I have a good community behind me where I've come up with different projects that I wanted to do, and I've reached out to community and I've said, hey, can you help me keep this going? And they've sent me money so I could keep that project going. Whether it be like, I don't really do that for this kind of stuff, like my canvas art, but like if I have a mural, I'll ask people to help. Yeah. And you know, there needs to be more support for artists, especially during this time when, you know, if your project's canceled and you can't do your art, you're not selling art, and more platforms to display yourself. It's gotten harder to promote because you have to promote yourself. It's pretty much selling yourself, right? You have to promote yourself on Instagram and social media, your website, and it's gotten harder. So having more platforms like this to be able to get your work out there and to get people getting to know, because they're not only buying your artwork, they're like buying into like who you are as a person. They're like, hey, I want to support this person because, sorry, my video is really messed up. I don't know what, it's been like all kinds of colors this whole time. But like buying into the artist and saying, I like this person, I like what they stand for, their art makes me feel this way, and supporting them, because there's people out there that want to do that. And if anyone's watching, if you'd like to support me and my artwork, please do. I welcome it because I love doing art and it makes me happy. So, and I like to make other people happy. So yeah, that's it. You just gotta keep going, keep doing it. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Yeah.
And I think this is a pretty dope platform. I've never been a part of anything like this, and I mean the way that you know, you guys support artists, I think it's pretty is pretty awesome. So yeah, I think yeah, like you said, I think I don't know, I'm like I said, I'm trying to, you know, be more entrenched in the art community. So I'm not really, I know there are like sources you know, of for artists, like they get grants and other things like that, but like these type of platforms right here, I think it does connect a lot of other artists, and it does draw attention to, you know, just people who you know, admire art, to, you know, be able to connect with the artist. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Leah.
Yeah, that makes me really happy to hear that. Yeah, this is also my first time organizing anything. Organizing with local artists, yeah.
Hey, I couldn't tell, man. The production and everything was just like, wow, like I did. Hey, like everything that was put together for this whole project was pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I was actually inspired by I met Kamisha through like Artists of Color Expo and Symposium back in February, and that was like an event where they were supporting like local artists of color, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I was like, I want to keep it going, you know, keep paying it forward.
Kamisha's my homegirl. We go way back. Yeah, she's a pretty dope artist, and I see her out here doing her thing, man. And hey, man, just to kind of see her, like, you know, really going hard. I mean, I'm behind her, man. You know, with whatever she wants to do. So.
Yeah, I don't know her personally, but I follow her, so I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan of her work. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm sorry that Malcolm couldn't come back, but thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you guys. I'll stay in touch.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Bye.
You guys have a great one.
Bye.
All right, bye.